Hello again, everyone. This is Gilmer, and this is episode 1 of my Let's Play War in the West. I'm playing the beta version 1.02.59, and I have to apologize. I really did want to work on the air war this time, but I swear there's so many air units to move around, and I mean, they're everywhere in England. And so I just got to the point where I was just like, man, this is just too much. It's too much to worry about, to agonize over, and maybe not even get right after all that. And so, I mean, every airfield that you see, and the airfields are these little crosses or these little triangles, or some of them are only single runways. Like this, I believe, is a single runway. Everyone that's green has aircraft on it. So as you can see, there is a lot of aircraft sitting out here. Look at that. And I know I did it in my last game where I didn't control the air war, but I did move all of the single engine aircraft down here and moved all the double engine bombers up here. But I just can't do it. It's too much. And War in the East too, they're supposed to be making the air war a lot easier. They're gonna base it similar to this, but they're gonna use air groups, and supposedly that's gonna make it a lot easier for us. But I started looking at this yesterday, and I realized that this isn't the part of the turn that you can transfer planes on. I actually should have been transferring planes around at the very beginning of the game, before I ran the air doctrines, because that's when you transfer planes. And so I had already skipped it once. And so I was going to just start the game over and do the plane transfers, and I transferred about 12 air formations and decided I can't do this. It's just too much. So we are going to play the land war and let the AI handle the air war. So our first objective is Sicily, and we have a lot of reconnaissance on Sicily. So the first thing that you do to invade Sicily is select these units that are with a amphibious HQ, and if you have more than 50 prep points, you can invade. And where you will invade is this hex right here, 153 295, and that's strategic movement points. I don't know if you use them on the invasion, but they are used at some point, and I know when they're used. It's just that they're not being used at this point on these amphibious invasions, or if they are, they're being used in conjunction with this prep points. So what I'm doing now is I'm setting my amphibious invasion forces, setting them off, letting them go to where they are scheduled to land. And there should be 6. And did I do all 6? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing one, actually. Here it is. Yep. This amphibious path attrition, I think that is abstracted losses of units while you're doing your amphibious movements. So when it says amphibious attrition 9 or something, that means you lost some of your units. So here are how my units are set up. I'm at the invasion point for 6 invasion fleets, or whatever they call them at this point, or amphibious HQs. And so then we go ahead and end the turn. And then the Germans will start going, and then when they're done, my amphibious units will unload. And I'm going to leave the the video recording while this is going on, the air war and things like that. My computer's strong enough and fast enough that it can do this. Well, let's pause it. So this is a 2nd U.S. Corps attacking, being led by Omar Bradley. Pretty nice. And we capture a depot and destroyed an artillery battalion. That's going a little slow, to be honest. Let's click this. Okay. Well, let's see. We are at, as you can see up here, that I think let's try this. Okay, so let's take a look at this battle screen and understand a little bit of what's going on. The initial combat factor of the attacker, who is me, and it's the 8th British Corps, is 149. After all the modifiers have been applied, their combat value moves down to 134. But the defender combat value starts at 9, and after all the modifiers, it goes to 0. They had a entrenchment factor or fort factor of 1. It was reduced to 0. The final odds are 134 to 0. That's at 134, 0. And, of course, that was easily won battle. 17,862 men against 1,200. Why does that say minus 2272? That's weird. That's more than what they had. But whatever. I mean, it just seemed, maybe it was 3,480 or whatever, and then those two added together was what it was originally. But anyway, that's how you look at these. And here are the Air Force commanders and what engaged in the battle with the Air Force: the Tactical Air Force, 24 Spitfire fighters, and then 4 Spitfire look like some kind of tactical bombers. And then, of course, they defended with 9 C-205Vs, 15 C-202, and then, of course, 36 BF-109s, which is the Messerschmitt 109. Here's a better example. They started out at 117 and they went to 700. I'm not really sure. I think it might be given possibly some support from the U.S. Amphibious HQs, which is pretty nice. They were at 15, went to 5. And so the odds were 140 to 1. And that's basically 700. The 140 is 5 times 140 is 700. So basically this is 700 to 5 or 140 to 1. and we won it. So let's try something. It's pretty loud. Okay, let's turn this off for a second and go to sound effects volume. Let's do that 6 and that 3. Somebody had mentioned that my cursor was not being recorded. I do believe it is now being recorded, but let me know if it's not, and we'll do something about that. So that was the air directive screen. AI move, and here's the air automatic air directive. I always click AI manage air. I'm sure I don't need to do that every single time, but it doesn't. It takes a second. So I set the air directives so the AI can set new air directives, and then I execute. Wait a minute. Before I do that, though, tactical strategic air day. I want these. I want the VW launch, these V weapons, and the U-boats. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure I have to do U-boats, but I want to make sure that they get hit strategically, because that's where some of they get their VPs from, their victory points. And let's see what this summary says. Okay. So this kind of tells you what it's going to happen. They're going to bomb the city of Hamburg. They're going to bomb the city of Frankfurt. They're going to bomb the city of Cleve. And the bombers, or the planes, are coming from Coltishall, Hocking, and Manston. And I mean, you can tell down through there. But anyway, let's just AI set air directives. I think I did that, but I want to do that again. And then let's execute. Let's go to message level 1. If we had it on message level 2, this part of the term would take forever. So what we'll do is we'll look at a couple of the bombings and a couple of the action reports. That sound is still pretty loud. Look at that. XTRG is playing war in the east, and I'm playing war in the west. Wonder if he's recording or streaming. Okay, so 32,000 sorties. We lost 439 aircraft. The enemy lost 125 aircraft. It's not as good as I would hope. So, what do you do now? Well, let's see. I don't like them being on that train. Yeah. We can do naval transport mode. And you know what? Before I do that, I want to get these guys out of the way. So if you watch these little messages, they're losing aircraft, artillery, or whatever. So if it has a purple border, that means that's the one selected. I don't want to select the engineer regiment, but I do want to select this infantry regiment or division. And we can actually, or can we? Yeah. So they were initially a 3 combat value, went to 4. We were initially at 41, went to 81. That gave us odds of 20.3 to 1. And of course we won that fairly easily. So these units I'm going to move this way. And obviously, I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. And these I'm going to move up this way. And this is, of course, the old, Monty versus Patton situation. The British went up, I believe, this coast, and the Americans went whipping around as fast as they could, took Palermo. I could be wrong on that. I don't really. Wow. Okay. So they held, but they probably won't hold a second time. Nope. Let's wow. Wow, I didn't see that coming. Let's do a deliberate attack. Oh boy, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm all the way over there. So I want to select this one and not select that one. We'll move him up to Caltanissetta. Actually, I should have captured this area too. Not paying attention. But anyway, it's time to move these guys. And we want to do naval transport mode because they're not doing an invasion anymore. Why? Oh, this one is not allowed to do it, probably because they have below a certain point of strategic movement points. So these are kind of that pinkish red, which is the British. Wish it would go. I could change the setting for that to go a little faster, to be honest. Actually, I will after this after I'm done with this episode. I'm going to change that because nobody wants to. I mean, I'm sitting here. I know what's going on, and I don't even like it. That one can't move. If we put that to ground mode, then we can put him. And as you can see, this unit, this British 8th British Corps headquarters unit, is basically in charge of these two units, and I think maybe some of these. So we want them. We want to get them closer to the action so that they can draw supply from them, and also any support units they can pull from the 8th British Corps. So, actually, I'll move them up there so both of them can be basically in supply. Well, wait a minute. There we go. On ships. When you click on ships, they'll unload, but it says not enough remaining capacity, which that's related to the actual port. So let's see. Okay, 130 strategic MPs are required to offload from a boat. So then we have these guys are all part of that unit as well. Those are my airborne units, actually. So this is an airdrop. These are set up to drop on 149,293. Well, I don't know what that P75 means, but you just basically launch it. And then, as you can see, they're now here. So that's how you do airborne. These were all, I messed that up. One of those was set up to drop. They're in a port. These are the Free French divisions. They are the, if you know anything about World War II, you know that North Africa was part of France. And they were nominally, I guess, part of Vichy France, which was an ally of Nazi Germany. But when the Americans showed up I think it was the Americans. When the Americans showed up to invade, they gave them a choice. You know, you can fight us or you can join us. And the French, obviously the French weren't happy about being an ally with Nazi Germany because Nazi Germany had conquered them. They came over to the Allied side. So that's what these guys are. These blue units are the Free French. So that was pretty cool. That little deal has been portrayed in several movies. The Big Red One had a scene where Patton's troops were coming ashore, and over a loudspeaker they said, "French troops, blah, blah, blah. If you want to fight us, you can fight us, or if you want to, you can join us." and they joined them. Cheers to them. They didn't want to be part of Vichy France at any more time. Let's see. So I'm going to do a little bit of... I'm going to move some more of these troops over here. I probably have enough units now to take Sicily. And that unit is taking forever. There he is. Holy crap. So he has strategic movement points of 107. 130 required to unload, so I gotta wait until the next turn. And that's how it works. Not really sure why they are not attached to anybody. So they're assigned to the 2nd U.S. Corps. I don't want to go too crazy on moving these, but I want to move the majority of them over here on this turn. Here they come. One of them. And I want to move the headquarters of this British division over here as well. And whatever else I can of that formation. So you can turn this off. This where they just show the unit moving across. You can turn that off so that they show up immediately. And of course I haven't turned that off. I don't want to move you yet. I want to move you. What? He's got 2 movement points, so 18 and 30. Okay. Oh, okay. So the thing, one of the things, like I always say, one of the things, but you have to have capacity in the embarkation point to load the units, and then you also have to have the capacity in the target port to disembark your units. And so I'm at a problem right here where I don't have enough capacity in this port. So let's see. We'll move them. So one of my units was able to be loaded, but not all of them. So that's pretty much going to be the end of this turn. What I want to do is expand air bases in Sicily, and this is how you do it. You click on a city or a place where an airport is. This screen comes up, and you can click expand airport airbase, and you can also click to repair the port and the rail yard and the manpower. But I'm not going to worry too much about the rail and the manpower, but I am going to worry about the port. This port says 100%. Oh, maybe it's 100% damaged. And expand the airbase. And it's using these admin points to do that. So I imagine at some point, let's see, I've already. Wait a minute. Do I have to? No, let's do this. Huh? It didn't. That didn't reduce. Okay, it did use to repair it. Oh, I guess if you're expanding the airbase, it doesn't use admin points. But if you're repairing something, it does use admin points, I guess. I'm going to expand all of these air bases. And that'll do it for the first turn. I hope I didn't go over anything too quickly for you to understand it. I don't understand everything myself, but I do understand a little bit about moving, airborne units being dropped, naval transport, and then of course amphibious transport, where it's an actual invasion using these amphibious HQs. And I hope I explained also the ports. You need capacity of the port. I don't really know exactly how to check that. But you have to keep in mind, and most of these, I think this port you can offload just about anything, but some of these other ports you're not able to offload as much. So keep an eye out for that. This one, I guess he's out of, that's why he didn't make it. He was out of strategic movement points, so he's still way out at sea looking to come in. So I'm going to save this. And then I will see you next time.